this computer. And we're recording. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin O'Brien, and this is the Why Our World interview series. In this series of interviews, we are meeting our users and data scientists all over the world and learning about their lived experience and their interaction with the community, the R community, or in some cases, the R community or the Python community, which might be more appropriate in this case, but it's not particularly an important matter that. Today we are joined by Tatenda Matika. I hope I pronounced that right.
It's okay.
I sorry about that. You're joining us from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Tell us all about Zimbabwe. Tell us all about the people, the places, the city, just to give us a sense of Zimbabwe.
Okay. So I'm going to start by saying I'm Tatenda Emma Matika. So I've realized there are a couple of Tatenda Matikas out there. So I actually like identifying with my full name. But yeah, that's fine. And you pronounce it very well. So
okay, good stuff.
Yeah. So I am from Zimbabwe. I was born in a small town called Masvingo. Masvingo is one of the oldest towns in Zimbabwe because Zimbabwe was named after an old town that was that existed in Zimbabwe pre-colonialism. So it was called Great Zimbabwe, and so that's where Zimbabwe got its name. And so I was actually thinking that maybe I could maybe just show you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my photo will change. So it's changing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Great Zimbabwe in the background there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was built, I think, in the around 14th century, I think, somewhere there. So so it was built on it's like rocks without cement or mortar like we use nowadays. So the ruins are still there, and it's now a protected site, so people can just go and see the ruins and all that. So I grew up in Masvingo, and then I went to school for my primary school and high school. I was studying in Masvingo, and then after that, for varsity, I went to Bulawayo. Bulawayo is the second largest town in Zimbabwe. And then the interesting thing about most of the degree programs in Zimbabwe is that in this, the year before your final year, you have to go for industrial attachment. So it's like the whole year, you are like completely working full time at a company. So during that time, I went to Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. So I was working in Harare at one of the largest telecoms companies in Zimbabwe. It's called GTEL. So that's where I was working. And then after that, I went back to school and finished. So that was a bit about myself. So now back to Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe is, I think Zimbabwe is undermarketed sometimes because most people know about Harare and they know about Victoria Falls. I don't know if you know about Victoria Falls. So that's Victoria Falls.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my background here is actually, it's a place in Zimbabwe called Binga. So there's a river and like a sand beach there. So it's really nice. So Zimbabwe it's a beautiful country. It's in Southern Africa, just above South Africa. So there's South Africa at the bottom and Zimbabwe just above South Africa. And there's a population of about maybe 16 million people and 16 official languages. And wow. I speak Shona, which is one of the widely spoken languages in Zimbabwe. And yeah, most people, I think the education culture in Zimbabwe is like really high up there. So most people like prioritize going to school and education. Although there are some still people who struggle. Like there are still some people who still struggle like with education and sending their kids to school, like maybe in the places that are like far from towns, but then most of the people, like a high percentage of people, are literate. So that is a good thing about Zimbabwe. And I guess that's like a combination of me and my country. Yeah.
Great stuff. So tell us about like your early career for, let's say, as an undergraduate. Like, what did you study in university? What brought you in the direction of R and Python?
Okay, so when I was doing my undergrad, the final year project, I did a project on summarization, text summarization of news articles. So I used R for that project. That's where, sorry, I used Python for that project. So that's when I started using Python because we weren't using it in our classes from first year up to even final year. So that's when I started using Python. And then when I finished my undergrad, I went to South Africa to, it's called AIMS, African Institute for Mathematical Sciences.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's where I was doing, yeah, I was doing a master's in mathematical science. So in one of the introductory courses, the statistics course, we were using R for everything. So everything that we're doing practically, we're doing in R. So that's when I was introduced to R. And I realized it's actually not hard because it's literally like almost most of the things you can do in Python, you can also do in R.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of which one is easier because some of them are easier in Python, some of them are easier in R. And then when I finished my master's degree, I took a course. So there's this course that they do to allow mathematical science graduates to get into industry and apply their skills. It's called, it's in collaboration with ESMT Berlin. So it's like an industry immersion program. So we're using, we had two courses on data analytics in that program. So we were using R there. So that's pretty much my experience with R. And then I also do some freelance work on Upwork. So sometimes I take on projects for R. Yes, so that's my experience with R apps now.
Good, excellent. Good. Thanks for the very detailed answer. Just a quick question there. AIMS. Just tell us a little bit more about that. AIMS.
Oh, AIMS. So AIMS was founded by Professor Neil Turok. He's a professor. I think he works. I don't know if he still works in Canada, but I think by the time like he started AIMS, I think he was also doing some of lecturing work in Canada. So he just realized that the research output for Africa in terms of mathematics and stuff related to that was very low. And so the main idea behind that was he wanted to get a lot of African people, like African students, to go to like an unconventional school so that they can study and then produce like better research output for Africa in that space. So he liked, I don't know how it came about, but for him, it's like he wants to create Einsteins of Africa. So it's actually also called like the Next Einstein Initiative.
Okay.
So yeah, so the unconventional part about the AIMS program is that instead of the conventional maybe 2 years of doing a master's program, you go there and it's for 10 months. So it's 10 months with like maybe a couple of weeks break, but it's like ongoing from when you start up to the end, like you just go and up to the time that you finish. So you take 11 introductory courses, and then you also take 11 review courses, which are the courses that go on your transcript, and then you do a research project. So it's all of that in 10 months because his thing was we are sending people to school, but then after those 2-3 years, there's still nothing much coming out of it. So maybe if we try to just squish it in all together into a 10 months project, we'll see how well that goes. So yeah, it's been happening for I think a number of years now. Yeah, so mostly it's just mathematical science that you study, and they take students from various disciplines. So as long as you studied something that is related to mathematics and you have a reasonable number of mathematics courses that you studied, you can go there. So you find people from engineering, people from bioinformatics, computer science, from applied maths, from pure maths, from statistics. So it's all of those math related degrees. So if you studied that in your undergrad or your other masters, so you can go to AIMS And it's a fully funded program. That's the good thing. Like you literally don't have to pay for anything. So they pay for your transport from your home country to Ames and back. And throughout the course of your studies, they take care of you. It's accommodation, food, they give you a stipend. So literally like all you do is just you go there, you study, you get your degree, and then you make them proud with whatever you're doing after that.
Great stuff. Great stuff. That's a brilliant answer. Thanks for that. Just tell us a little bit more about Berlin. Did you travel to Berlin or was that localized in Southern Africa?
Okay, so we did not travel to Berlin. Well, because of two reasons. So the first
Yeah.
thing was we did that during the pandemic. And then the second thing is that they actually tried sending people to Berlin the first years of the program, but people weren't coming back to Africa. So they're
Okay.
like, no, yeah, we have to do it in Africa. So it was virtual with the lecturers, and then they help you to get internships in your home country so that you can apply your skills in your home countries and develop Africa. That's the idea
Good
behind it.
stuff, yeah.
Yes.
And tell us actually, what are you working on now, or what's in your recent career? What have you been doing, particularly with regard to R and Python? Like, there's you've been
Okay.
developing apps and stuff like that. But
Yeah, kind of. So when I came back home, I wasn't because of the pandemic. It's been difficult to get jobs. So for
yeah,
the ESMT program, I wasn't able to get an internship for myself. So I got a job. It's a trainee position as a business analytics consultant. So we do a lot of analytics work. So it's not strict to which packages or
yeah,
languages or tools in general that you can use. So it's anything that works for you as long as you produce the results. So
yeah,
they are flexible. Yeah, so I've been using Python for some of the analytics work and then some in-house projects where they want to automate some of the processes that they do. So it's model building and testing of stuff. So I've been doing that with Python, but I've also explored doing some presentations using R because with R Shiny, you can do like interactive
yes,
presentations
yeah.
using that. So yeah, so I've been exploring doing that. I haven't actually done that in front of an audience, but it's something that I've been trying to do like in the background. If ever something comes up and I have to present it like that, so I can use R Shiny for that.
Good stuff. Tell me about is there an R community or a Python community in Zimbabwe? Like, do you meet other R users or Python users? Are there any events like that, like PyCon conferences?
Okay, so the Python community is actually large.
Yeah,
I've been following them on Twitter, but I haven't met them. That's the thing. So I've been following some of them, and some of them have actually gone to conferences like Google conferences and stuff like that. So I've just been following them, but I haven't joined the
yeah,
Python community. But it's very active, and there are a lot of things going on there. But the R community is very small. It's not that there are not a lot of people using R. They are, but then just like I don't think anyone has ever been like actively involved in forming in our community.
yeah,
So the because I recently researched about the R community, and the one that I saw on Twitter and on their website is like less than 50 people, I think. So it's very small, and it was last active for their Twitter is last active like 2018. So it's very small, and not a lot of people meet up for our yeah.
yeah. Okay, it was started like, is there any conferences or stuff like that? Because I actually, I think there is a PyCon Zimbabwe.
Yes, that's the Python community in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've not engaged with that yet? No, no.
No, I haven't, but I've just been following their
Right.
activities like on social media. So that's how I found out that they've been going to conferences, and
Yeah,
some of them
yeah,
have been going to, it's called Google something. I think there's a Google conference that happens every year, and a number of the members of the PyCon Zimbabwe, they've gone to that conference. And I know two of the members. Yeah, because one of them was my junior in high school. So that's that's also how I know about the Python community in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Tell us, like, as a programmer, as a coder, what are your ambitions for the next, let's say, 3 or 4 years? Like, would you like to learn more about some things or other things, or where would you like to be in over the next 5 years with coding?
With coding. Oh yeah, so what's funny is previously I just thought that maybe I'll be in software development because I did computer science. But then when I did the master's in mathematical science, I realized that I actually like data analytics and data science more. But my experience now is very limited because I only finished last year in 2020.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of experience with that. So it's also it has also been a challenge when like applying for further study in those fields. But that's some like I want to learn more about data science and artificial intelligence in general. So that's what I want to learn more about. But also the problem is in Zimbabwe, the use cases are like very few. So you have to be applying to other countries. So it also becomes a challenge because applying to other countries also means like there's chances of getting like a
Yeah.
position there, yeah, like relatively. So yeah, I'd like to like learn more about artificial intelligence and data science and just improve my skills in general because like where I'm currently working, there are not a lot of people doing the model building and stuff. So I have to be like consulting other people from school and stuff like that. So I would like to be in an environment where maybe we're working on a project and I'm actually learning from senior researchers in machine learning
Yeah.
or artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Good stuff. Tell me, you sort of touched upon the matter of international travel there. Is visas and international travel a big factor in your career aspirations?
Well, yes. Traveling generally, like from Zimbabwe to another country, there are about I don't know how many countries, like maybe 30 or 60, I don't remember the actual number of countries where you can go without a visa, but it's only for a limited
Yeah.
amount of time. So if you want to work there, you need to have a work visa, you need to have maybe a permanent residence. So for example, when you're looking for a job in South Africa, most of the like big organizations, you need to have a work permit. And also, like when you want to apply for work permit when you're here, you need to have a job first. So,
Yeah, it's very tough to organize
so
everything.
it's very, yeah, it's very tough. So, some people do manage to get opportunities like that. I mean, with AIMS for me, it's been relatively like easier compared to before I did AIMS to apply for opportunities. So I've done some interviews for some companies, and then AIMS also offers internships with other organizations in other countries. So I have one internship coming up soon with AIMS and Manobi Africa. So AIMS has made it relatively easier for me, but generally, like getting papers in Zimbabwe, it's challenging.
Yeah, yeah. Just another question actually would be related to internet access. Is internet access an important factor in your planning for in your career?
Yes, definitely. Like you need internet to generally like when you're working on technical stuff, you always have to be looking some things up. And sometimes your machine is not good enough to run some of the programs you're running. So you have to use maybe Google Colab or R online. So you definitely like you always need good internet access. So the internet access, like the providers in Zimbabwe, they're actually not bad. So the internet is good. It's just the pricing. So for
Yeah,
me, in a month, because I use maybe I buy like a 50 gigabytes package, it's about $50. So that's considering also the earnings of people here. It's very expensive.
got it. Yes, yeah, no, that has been come up as a regular issue about the quality and cost of internet access being a barrier. So that That's great. Just actually tell us a little bit about what your sort of favorite packages, both with R and with Python. You mentioned Shiny there before, so probably the Python stuff. What sort of gives you real sort of joy to work with?
Okay, so with Python, um, okay, so I don't know if I have a favorite one, but I mostly just use pandas and matplot library for plotting, and NumPy. Oh, I like NumPy because it makes everything easier. Like
Yeah.
when you just we're working with large arrays and stuff, it just makes everything easier. And I've been trying this package for like deploying your application on websites. I'm forgetting the name of okay, it's called Streamlit. So Streamlit, it actually makes it easier to deploy your application on a website as compared to there's Flask and another one, I don't remember the name. So those ones are a bit like complicated. So you have to know what you are doing for it to be easier for you. But with Streamlit, a lot of the things like they're well documented and it's just easy to implement. So I like using Streamlit for deploying to the web. And I also like NumPy because it makes everything. It's like when I realized, like when I was learning Python, when we started doing NumPy, I was like, okay, this is definitely like easier. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Another question actually is something my colleagues would be very interested in. There's organizations in the R community and the Python community like R Ladies and Pi Ladies and Women in Code and stuff like that. Is there a bit of a presence in Zimbabwe for those organizations?
Um, not really, but I do know about women in code, but I can't remember if it was for Zimbabwe or South Africa, but I've come across women in code. And
Yeah.
there are also groups like local groups about women in tech. So
Yeah.
we have those groups as well. And we also have the Data Science Zimbabwe community. So we have WhatsApp groups. We have, I think it's also active on other social media platforms, and it's very active on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Like on my LinkedIn, I've been, yeah, pretty much like most people, it's either R or Python or both. So yeah, we discuss some challenges with data science. Some people post their problems there and you assist with the code. So yeah, the data science community is very active because we have two WhatsApp groups now,
Okay. Good
Data
stuff.
Science Zimbabwe community.
Yeah. So for
Yes.
a young person in Zimbabwe, let's say somebody who's still in secondary school, like what advice would you give them? Or like where would you send them? Probably to the Data Science Zimbabwe to like meet more data scientists. But sorry, what advice would you give
Yes. So yeah.
career young scientist? Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing would be to find like someone who's working in the professional space as a data science so that you get like a better understanding of what they actually do in their work. So some of the professional people, you can find them in the Data Science Zimbabwe community. And they also do, like last week, we had a question and answer section for secondary school girls. So
Okay.
we had that, yeah. And then one of the people, she's called Henrika. She's very active. She's a data scientist. She also does mentoring for high school kids for data science, just so that they know like what's really happening in that space. And I've also been asked to be a mentor on a program called Teen 60. So if so, it depends now with what the person who you are mentoring wants to know. So if they want to know about data science, that would be good because at least I can give them more information about that. So it's mostly like those communities and people who are willing to be part of mentorship programs where they can just share the information.
Good stuff. I'll be sure to put a link if I can find a link for Data Science Zimbabwe. I'll put it as part of this where the YouTube clip will be. So I
Okay.
think that's pretty much everything. I'm really delighted that your dad taken part of this interview. You give us a really great insight into what's going on as a data scientist in Zimbabwe. So thanks very much, Tatenda, and hopefully you'll be part of the international R community, more prominent in the international R community and Python communities in the future?
Yeah, I'd like that. I hope I'll be able to do that. And thank you for having me. I was a bit scared, because I was
No, it
like,
was
I
really a
don't,
good interview. Thank you
yeah,
very much.
but it went well. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks very much, folks.
Okay.
Now, I'm just going to stop the recording there.